Watch this? I don't remember.
MMOs share a common goal.
Oh, I know this guy.
And make sure you never stop playing. Immersion, expansion, narratives, numbers going up. Developers are always looking for that special recipe that hits it just right for you. And this is no easy task. Not a lot of games are able to do this, but a select few have beat the odds and are still.
So we got Guild Wars, EVE Online, Second Life, Maple Story, man. That was kind of a fun game on EverQuest. I remember EverQuest. Oh, Ultima Online. I've heard about that. I haven't played it.
Still around to this
Guild
day,
Wars is still
20
still
years
around.
later. And as someone who's played none of those, I don't want to, because behind the success of all of these titles are 20 years worth of content meant to make me want to keep playing forever and ever. And I'm sure a lot of those games have a great new player experience. Maybe they don't. I don't know. I'm not going to find out. If you've got a funny story about trying any of those
how you
games
have everything
recently,
laid out?
tell me in the comments. I like reading funny stories. I read things. Diving into an MMO that has been pumping content into itself for 80% of my lifetime sounds incredibly hard and very irresponsible. But some of you love incredibly hard things and being irresponsible. And
that's one thing I do like about games with like a whole fucking bar and things and banners all over the place that you can actually move them around. But it's so much on the screen that I think maybe just because I didn't kind of build up from just like one little bar and then had like 2 and 3 and then a banner and then this over here tracking like who's doing DPS and all that kind of shit. Like I think because I've never built up from just the basics going around, it's just overwhelming to kind of look at. Yeah, congestion. That's a perfect word for it. Yep, that's exactly what it is. I think that's one of those other things that kind of make me look at RS3 or even WoW for that matter. Like WoW, when you see some of these like, you know, diehard WoW guys, they got their whole fucking screen filled up with shit. I'm like, how do you even play the game? You know?
of the games that has survived its 20 plus years of pumping into itself happens to be RuneScape. But RuneScape offers a very unique dilemma for new players or returning players. There's 2 of them. Same company, same offices, just 2 different games. If you've tried to navigate this fork in the road on your own, you've probably not found an answer. Unfortunately for you, there's a lot of pros and cons to weigh out with each game. And it calls for you watching this video essay in its entirety, from start to finish. And look, I'm going to do my best to not be biased.
Gotta get that retention.
I've played both games. I've been in the RuneScape community for about 17 years now, and I can assure you, I hate both games equally. So whether you're a returning player trying to figure out what's going on, confused as hell, or you're a new guy who's lost and scared, or you're a viewer here because you know that I don't make bad videos, come along with me. We're going to figure out which game's right for you. Before we get too into it, we've got a sponsor today. Who is it? Oh, no shot. Oh, no shot.
Oh, this fucking guy.
Hey, what about my world? What about my world?
Oh, no, I heard you.
Eyesore.
Everybody knows about your world now. No one's trying to debunk your world. It's never happened.
That is not true.
You're in mine now. This is a problem.
Hero Wars has vibrant graphics, cool gameplay, and a user-friendly interface.
It's not even what I was saying. You're just talking about yourself. Every time I see you, you're doing this. Let me guess. You want me to tell everyone about it?
Tell them more about it.
Is that right? Yeah, that's right. Today is sponsored by Hero Wars. Everyone can find a character that suits them. Cyborgs, aliens, vampires. Unlock Chaba. He's a tank. I can't believe we almost forgot. Celeste, S-tier character. You're going to be playing it all the time.
I hate games like that where you have to... Oh, you can't do these ads? Low key, I think they're kind of hilarious. But it's the same exact ad every time. I saw this guy on, not seeing him, but I heard him on a podcast one time talking about how when you have like, you know, when you're doing YouTube, you have like sponsors and ad reads and stuff. So many of the, the satire behind it. So many of these like mobile game ads, right? Like Raid Shadow Legends, right? They want you to stick to such a specific script. And he was actually talking about how he was like raids wanted him to do ads, right, for his videos, and then he got into like a big old fight with them on like, listen, if you want me to do the ad, I'm willing to do it, but you have to give me some creative, leeway in how I deliver the ads, or else it's just going to be gross and sellouty to my audience. Like I just can't do it. So he got to do his ads a specific way without raids like being all pissed off at him.
February 13th, you can gather soul stones and skin coins with 3 amazing heroes. While you're sitting there, you're thinking, how can I get 30,000 coins, 600
Raid
emeralds,
wants me to
and
do
5
ads, bro.
characters so they can go and start dominating? And you're lucky I knew you were thinking that, because you can do that right now. Just click the link in the description.
And because
because
there's so many raid ads, I never want to play the game. Like, it makes me actively not want to play the fucking game. Because every video that I go on is like, Raid Shadow Legends, check it out, new heroes, blah, blah, blah. I don't like hero builders anyway, though, is the thing.
Type it in, you've never been here before, this is what you see. They don't give you a lot of time to think
years,
here. You gotta choose a game. Which one do you want to play? There's 2 of them. We've got 2.
So
but hold on for a minute, because one of these clicks,
I mean, they're making a shit ton of money
than the other one. No one's forcing you to make this choice. Don't feel pressured. That's why I'm here. Let's give Jagex a chance. Let's see what they have to say about these 2 different games. I'll translate what they actually mean to say. So let's start with old school RuneScape and find out more. Gielinor, like it used to be. Now, I don't want you to be alarmed. It never used to be Blender models and oversaturated backgrounds that you will never see in the game. Jagex chose this design because half the RuneScape content creators are using unrecognizable and disgusting Blender thumbnails. So it's just a phase. They'll get over it. Everything will be back to normal soon. It's just a bad time. Choose your challenge. Hanging out with friends, doing dangerous quests, the hunt for the world's strongest wand, or a fabulous hat. Okay, so yes, there's a lot of activities to do in the game. I think it's kind of funny that hanging out with your friends is in the category of challenges. They understand you. But if you want to go bossing or PVM with friends, you can expect to clock in about 200 hours of gameplay before you're able to. And if you're a new player, make that about 300 to 500, depending on you. I just don't want you to get excited about the literal first thing they tell you about. A rich story and a deep well of lore, corrupt rulers, musings of the village baker, world-shattering urgencies, and casual procrastination. I'll be the first to tell you, there is some very deep lore in old school. I'll probably be the last as well, because no one else gives a shit about it. It's just not people's favorite thing in this game. We'll get to that later, but quests
I've never read
are not
any
something
line
people
of text
boast
from a
about in old
quest.
school. Players have the deciding vote. Yeah, you're gonna forget to vote in these polls. It's probably for the best. You have no right to tell us what's good for this game. If you're new, don't just pretend like you never read this. Don't come here just to ruin things for us. We've got a little cinematic playing at the bottom. Castle Wars minigame, not what that looks like in the real game. That's not what's going on there. That character looks really cool doing that. The person playing is about 45 hours deep into doing that exact same activity.
So when I was a kid and I saw the idea of doing agility, I was like, oh man, that's gonna be the coolest thing. And then I got to, where am I at, 70 agility, I was like, I fucking hate everything about this game. I'm gonna uninstall. Like, I hate this shit so much.
They're sad. Okay, now this is the most nostalgic thing in here. This is very accurate. Probably
Dragon
what you will
Slayer,
look like. Straight out of 2007. This is actually a very good representation. This guy has a dragon longsword before a rune plate body. I like this one. Okay, so that was old school. Let's give RuneScape 3 a look. A classic adventure reborn. I know what you're thinking. Wait a second. Wasn't that the last game? A classic reborn, old school RuneScape? Yes, this seems to just be an extremely poor choice of words. You're gonna have to just trust me on this, that we're about to read about RuneScape 3. Play your way. Will you explore Gielinor with friends, or seek fame and fortune alone? Play how you want, wherever you want. The choice is yours. What type of hero will you be? Yeah, so I think whoever wrote this was just kind of out of ideas at this point. The story of RuneScape 3 is fairly linear. I feel like you can explore with friends and make money whenever you want. You don't have to pick one or the other. You can do either one. This is basically a blurb of nothingness. Endless discovery. Join hundreds of millions of players. Okay, hold on a second. Jagex. Boy, let's back up here. Hundreds of millions of people have not played this game. There has maybe been 100 million players that have ever logged in to either version of RuneScape in its entire history. All these hundreds of millions of players are either bots or one of us just making our 12th alt account that's free to make however many times we want. RuneScape 3 is not even the more populated game here, so I don't even know why they chose these words of all to describe this game. This all doesn't even matter in the grand scheme of things today, but they wrote that and I read it. So that's their fault. With 28 skills to master, what does your future hold? Will you be one with nature by woodcutting and fishing? Or would you prefer creativity with smithing and construction? With so many paths to follow, you can truly become whatever you dream of. Here's a spoiler. Your future holds all of these. If you want to play this game, get into mid-level and endgame content, you'll be doing all of the things listed. You are not a woodcutter fisher or a construction smithing guy. You are all of the above at some point. There's no limits to what you can train and when you can train, except for invention maybe, but don't worry about that. You're not going to get to invention. You do everything in this game. So there's the answer to the rhetorical questions that someone got paid to write. And also, oh my God, wait, you got to tell them to like the video. We do that now, remember? We beg really? For likes. Do it. Say it. Just say it. Oh, you'll love telling them. Just do it. Try it out. Like the video. Oh,
God,
please, God, like the video. Both the games had trailers.
Like, from a video production standpoint, that's a great call to action. Like, make fun of the fact that you have to ask for likes and comment. Or likes and subscribes. That's beautiful.
At the end of them, they don't really do much information-wise, but they're both very accurate representations of themselves. RuneScape 3's was fast-paced, aesthetically pleasing, but just felt very wrong and weird for some reason that I can't explain. Also very confusing in the grand scheme of things. And minus the terribly inserted overhead text, Old School's was well put together, very true to itself in the classic aesthetic it promotes, but good God, it went on for way too long. It was a grind getting through it, you could say. Jagex has made this huge marketing pitch to us. Let's summarize a little bit what we've gathered. Nothing. We've pretty much learned nothing.
I'm Peter Davidson, because before 11 a.m., I like to keep it toned down.
This
and
is an
simple,
ad
just
that
like
I
Taco
really
Bell
can't
breakfast, with fluff.
Now, the deeper you get in any MMO, the more complex things become. When you're at the surface and
I'm okay watching ads for people I like,
complexity should pretty much be non-existent. Old School RuneScape's famous tutorial island, it's almost comforting. In the classic fixed mode of the game, which looks like this, the interface takes up more than half the screen. There is more UI here than game.
The interface is so massive. I remember the first time I was on Tutorial Island. This game is the shit. And all I did was fish some fucking shrimp and burn them.
Itself, but the UI is introduced to you one icon at a time. They don't overwhelm you with all this crazy stuff. They just kind of show you how simple everything is as you move along. Simplicity at its finest, and it's what makes Old School so charming, handsome even. There's a reason that this was a lot of people's first MMO. It just holds your hand and welcomes you before it releases
actually
you
holds
into
your hand
the world.
on
Anyone can get a grasp on this game from the tutorial alone. RuneScape 3, on the other hand, they've been trying to figure out a good tutorial for about 10 years now. In 2008, a tutorial called Learning the Ropes replaced
the
Tutorial Island. They eventually
monitors.
realized that one sucks, and they reintroduced Tutorial Island for a while.
And the loudest computers
when they
ever.
Introduced,
That's what I was talking about, the fucking dragon thing, dude. Oh my God, I remember that shit. Yeah, you had to fight a goblin over here while he was like fending off a dragon. And then you had to like run away or something and it all collapsed on him. Holy shit, I remember that.
Foundations, the new tutorial into the game. And then 5 years later, in 2014, the tutorial Ashdale replaced that one. And then finally in 2018, they took Ashdale out, they put Tutorial Island back, and it is currently the tutorial for RuneScape 3. Unless you're on mobile. Then you're given a completely different tutorial.
I remember that, because it takes you to, the mobile version of RuneScape 3. Apparently, I thought this was just the new tutorial. It takes you when you still, yeah, you have to like. My God, there's like a whole line of quests, and it's in fuck, what's that place called? Where the Slayer Master is. Slayer Masters and Birth Up. Yeah, it's over in the Birth Up area, and there's like a bunch of whole ring of an area, and you got to do like all the little things, like woodcutting over here, construction over here, herb lore, summoning. They had it all kind of in the same area, so you can explore it. I remember
Tutorial
that.
called Davendale.
Combat! Oh!
Yeah.
Left click your backpack to open it. There's no backpack for me to open. There's no icons. They disappeared. I can't click anything. I can't do anything. I'm stuck on Dave's Island or whatever the fuck. I have to report a
Still in
bug.
the
I'm
game.
actually reporting a bug
Is
right
it?
now.
It's safe to say that Jagex has never really figured out a good way to introduce new guys to RuneScape 3. It's not as simple as it used to be. I mean, they try to introduce the UI one icon at a time like it used to do. Watch as I go from Tutorial Island to the mainland. That is a lot more than was there a second ago. They skipped a lot of things suddenly. Where it is anything anymore. I am what happened. But don't let that discourage you from becoming
introduction
a new
to a
player of
raid
RuneScape
boss,
3.
gotcha.
Because luckily, the RuneScape 3 video making community has a lot of people who make guides and make
cool.
guides. There is nothing in this game that some dude has not tried to start a YouTube career explaining. The RuneScape 3
Facts.
tutorial island is YouTube. To be able to see Lumbridge for the first time again, dude, I would pay a lot of money.
Oh my God. Can you remember the first time you saw these goblins at Lumbridge? Like, such a congestion of icons. Yeah. And it's like, yeah. Oh my God. I 100% agree with this guy here. Like, if I could go back and experience Lumbridge for the first time, that would be wild. Oh my goodness, I'd pay for that.
Of money. If you've never logged into RuneScape before, just go do it, dude. Go fix the childhood you
Heckin'
missed out on.
murdered.
If not for you,
The fuck's
for
the
me,
heckin'?
just go do it and tell us how it feels. There's a reason
Decent?
that old school players have
Deacon?
done the early game over and over and over again, and every time
God,
there's a
killing
new
the
game
fucking
mode or something that
cows.
comes out, they
Lumbridge looks nothing like that now. It's completely fucking empty.
don't mind starting from nothing. No matter what kind of player you are, the early game content is going to be
Oh, geez,
awesome.
the
You can take your
goblins,
time
man.
killing cows for dozens of hours for your first few levels,
Or the fucking dark wizards when you go to the western gate of Varrock, or I guess technically the southern gate of Varrock. The dark wizards, they done got me hard one time. And then on the northeastern side of Varrock, there's that little mining pit, but there was like a level 6 rat there. And I was like, oh fuck, I can't fight that guy.
or you can rush a mid-game quest as a level 3 and skip the first like 40 attack levels. Old school RuneScape early game
Yeah,
is good.
yeah,
Just
yeah.
a couple months
Yeah, now
ago,
you just
I
go straight to the
experienced
stronghold of
RuneScape 3's early
security.
game. And I've realized that the developers' favorite part about the early game of RuneScape 3 is getting you the hell out of it. If you couldn't tell by the whole tutorial dilemma, these dudes are kind of just scratching their heads when it comes to new guys. They don't really know what to do with you. RuneScape 3 is fast.
Yeah, the swag
The last
boots,
spell was
man.
divided into days.
What are they called? Are they called the
During the
fancy
daytime, you
boots?
play
I think they're
as
called the
heroes.
fancy boots, yeah.
Each one is
Just
unique
walking
with
around
its
in
own
style.
So I think one of the most important things about playing a video game is understanding what exactly is in that video game. You should know that. The roots of these two games are identical. A lot of content
Yeah.
from
After this
characters
video,
or
I gotta
items,
hop
even
off and
quests,
get
a lot
to
of them will be
Dimension stream.
similar, if not exactly the same. These two games just kind of went down two entirely different directions and just kept going with it. RuneScape 3 took the path of lore focus, immersion, world expansion, timelines. For example, in old school, one of the RuneScape gods is named Zamorak. In that world, he's just some dude that a bunch of evil people worship. We don't really know too much
know
about
shit
him.
about him.
People, we've heard stories. We've never seen him in person. That'd be crazy. He's just red and bad. In RuneScape 3, you can literally talk to the guy during some of the quests.
Oh,
You
he
can see
looks
his story.
badass. Look at this guy. He looks scary as fuck. Fuck, I'd worship him if he popped up in front of me and was like, oh shit, did I run away? Ah! Trying to hold my mouse a different way. Sometimes I misclick hard. Yeah, he looks rad as fuck.
Unravel, learn as much about him as you want, and as of a few months ago, literally fight him as an endgame boss, like the endgame boss of RuneScape 3
how sick
right
he
now. I mean,
looks.
there is an entire skill dedicated to the lore of RuneScape 3. It just goes so deep.
Oh,
so
like
if you're
what's
really
it, archaeology
into
or
immersing
something,
yourself
right?
in a more fantasy setting and learning lore and really getting to know the
I remember, I popped into RuneScape a few times when I did actually remember my password. And I remember there was a thing going on like behind the Lumbridge Castle, where there's like a big rift in between, like behind the Lumbridge Castle, and there was like a battle of gods, like Saradomin versus Zamorak and stuff, and he had like, I don't know, you had like mine something, I want to say, to actually like give one god or the other power. I thought that was really cool, actually.
characters that you're talking to and why you're doing certain quests, you'll enjoy RuneScape 3. Starting in the 5th age as a good-for-nothing nobody who's just a pain in the ass for everybody. To evolve into the universe
There's
hero.
Lore in the Wild now?
Guardian
Yeah,
of the
God
Galaxy,
Wars,
whatever
man.
they call you. You have an
Yeah,
actual
that's what it
hero
was. It was
arc
God
in the
Wars.
RuneScape 3
I remember that now.
Whereas you're just a permanent nuisance in old school RuneScape.
The Wildy
which
fucking
I
scared
like.
the
I
shit
think
out of
there's
me,
a
dude.
Charm to being just a guy. Don't get me wrong, quests and storylines have been added to the game and expanded upon. Old school RuneScape's focus is less so on the lore of the game and more on the grind set. Mini games to expand skills and provide new training methods.
Oh no!
That's community,
No! Fuck! I goofed. Oh, it was like shit. Skipped a whole bunch. Ah, damn! I really done goofed up.
The universe hero or guardian, you can literally talk to the guy
Damn, I
that you're
misclicked hard.
talking nuisance in old school RuneScape's universe, which I like. I think there's a charm to being just
It was skilling. I was.
player. You can't really go wrong for either game for combat because both of them you're to new mechanics. Now skilling, that's where these two games are very different. In old school, there is a balance to new methods introduced to the game between XP per
Damn, I really fucked up
purple
this
chest
video.
at the end. Click that. RuneScape's focus is
Okay, there you
less so whatever they call you. You
Yeah,
have an
yeah, yeah.
actual hero arc
Oh, shit,
in the
shit,
RuneScape
shit,
3
shit,
world,
shit. Go,
whereas
go, go, go,
you're
go. Get
just
the thing,
a
get the thing.
permanent nuisance in old school
Okay.
RuneScape's
Gotcha.
universe, which I like. I think there's a charm to being
Don't
just
hesitate to hit me
just
up. I love
a
the
just a
vibe.
guy. Don't get
Yeah,
me wrong.
man,
Quests
hell
and
yeah.
storylines have been
I might
added
actually
to the
check
game
that
and
out.
expanded upon. Old school
For
RuneScape's
sure.
focus is less so on
Yeah, Wintertot. That is the entire goal of this account. I'm trying to get all of my stats to 80 so I can get maximum loot drops from Wintertot. That's it. That's the whole purpose of this account. And it's the most efficient way to go through Wintertot and get 99 fire making is to be a level 3 with at least base 80 stats and everything that you can get as far as loot. That's it. That's what I'm here for.
the lore of the game.
I might
and
actually.
more
I'll
on
hit you
the
up
grind
possibly.
set.
Yeah, I might check
Mini-games
out
to
RS3.
expand skills
Honestly.
and provide new training methods, quality of life updates and upgrades to work towards, raids with insane movement mechanics, even PvP at one point. Theater of Blood, which is a raid. 90% of players who are doing it, they could not tell you a sentence of lore of how you got there, what your character's doing there, why you're able to be in there. They know nothing. They don't care. Do not bother them with that information. They just know they need to move at certain times, click on certain squares at certain moments, switch to certain gear in the combat triangle to make sure they stay alive and hit efficiently, eat
Yeah,
one
we'll-
life number
Daryl,
low, and
we
click
might get into
chest.
like
Click-
a-
hopefully
We'll try to pop into a group chat or something on Discord. You can walk me through how the fuck to play RS3. That actually be a good one. Yellow Menace to Gillinor Society. Yeah, dude.
Purple chest at the end.
Dungeoneering.
Click
I
that,
would go,
open it up
honestly,
and make
I might
money
go
and then
back
do it
just for
again.
dungeoneering.
Players are not here for the story, to say the least.
love
They're here for their
dungeoneering
own
so
set
much.
goals and achievements. In fact, a vast majority of old school players use a client called RuneLight, and this client has skill calculators, plugins for
exactly what
quality
I'm
of
doing.
life, and one of the most praised plugins on this client is called Quest Helper. And oh boy, does it help with quests. It does a whole lot more than hold your hand. It puts you on its
dungeoneering.
shoulders and
What's
fights
it? Do
anything
a-
in its
a
path. You can
dungeoneering
finish every
only in
quest in the
Iron
game
Man.
and wear a quest cape without reading a line of dialogue. It will tell you where to click. You'll never need to wonder. An NPC during a quest could literally tell a player their IP address and their social security number, and they would not blink an eye because they wouldn't see it. They're not
Fucking
paying
me.
attention to it. They've space barred. They're already past it. Don't get me wrong. You can get into the stories of old school. Trust me, you can. But no one's getting too excited about slowing down their progress so they can read about some lore they're not really invested in because it doesn't matter too much.
Yeah, there's that meme during, I think it's one of the elf quest line where there's like a slide puzzle. So you could do the slide puzzle or just pay 200k and have someone else do it. You're like, here, take my 200k and fuck off.
Now, if I had a nickel for every time I've talked about the old school and RuneScape 3 combat systems, I'd have about 40 cents. But it comes down to this. Both games are point and click. RuneScape 3's is just a little more customizable to how it's automated or whether it's automated
look at all that
Old
shit.
School's combat is about as simple as it can get in a video game. You
As
click a
simple as it
monster,
can
you
get.
eat when your health is low, and you move on to the next one. Late game raids
You know what
and
puzzle
big
I'm talking
quest
about,
bosses
yeah.
on either game are going to call for you to learn some new mechanics. Old School's gonna end up focusing more on movement
I
and
said,
understanding
fuck that
game
puzzle,
ticks,
take
whereas
my
RuneScape
200K,
3 more
get the
so
fuck out
on
of my
abilities
face.
and the combat triangle. As a new player, you can't really go wrong for either
Yeah,
game
the
for
combat
combat, because
triangle,
both of
I
them,
remember
you're gonna
that.
start out extremely simple and work your way up to new mechanics.
Yep. Scaling.
Now, skilling,
That's my
where
thing.
these two games are very different. In Old School, there is a balance to new methods introduced to the game. Between XP per hour and cost, nothing's going to be introduced into Old School that would invalidate someone's accomplishment. Now, RuneScape 3 is a different story. The skilling of RuneScape 3 is where things start getting weird. The methods of the main game are so fast that 99 capes aren't really a big deal anymore. Nowadays, it's a 120 cape that mostly means something. 13
Okay.
million XP for 99 versus 104.
That's nuts. That's a crazy amount of XP. But like, my question is, right, to get a 120 cape and Slayer, can you buy that? Like, can you just buy a whole bunch of keys and then just get 104 million XP for to get the 120 cape and Slayer?
4 million XP for a 120 cape. It's like getting that 99 cape 8 times. Most skills in the
That's
game
nuts.
are completely AFKable from the bank. You're not going to do anything in the world. You're staying at the bank and AFKing skills like agility and Slayer and Hunter, even construction. And how is that?
That's
Well,
easy.
it was inevitable that we got to this part.
Oh, there it is.
Unfortunately, RuneScape 3 has dug itself the
There it
hole
is.
of pay to win. You can spend as much as you want on
Okay, yeah, so it was keys. Damn, you can buy 450 keys for $120, right? How much experience is that per key though on average?
treasure hunter keys. Guaranteed shitload of XP. A player can be at the
treasure
bank,
chest
look at their
keys, gotcha.
skills, see they have 87 hunter, and say to themselves, well, I want that to say 99. They can proceed to blow their paycheck on keys, and it will be 99 in about 30 minutes of clicking on lamps. And that's just from lamps. Things are AFKable
lamps.
because you could get skilling dummies, and you can set them up at the
Wait,
bank.
a Slayer skilled training dummy? The hell is that? Oh, I guess with the treasure chest keys, not a lot. So you can just set up a dummy and then like play with it, and then you get Slayer XP. That's kind
And
of
you can
wild.
train pretty much every skill in the game and just get XP by not
Okay.
doing anything. And the reason it sucks is because if you have two players standing next to each other wearing 99 capes, you don't know the difference between the player who grinded for hours and hours a day to get that cape and the guy who paid $400 and got
right.
his
Yeah, he
cape in a
could be
couple
he could
hours.
be.
And over the
you
years,
know,
this has been a huge slap in the face to players who feel
what's it?
like they got their
Kind of
accomplishment
exaggerating
completely
that for
stripped from
sure.
them. It's definitely destroyed people's sense of achievement. But the good news is, you're a new player. You don't have any previous achievements. You're starting
Right,
from
yeah, you don't have any
scratch. And
fucking
if you feel like
achievements.
buying XP isn't going to ruin your sense of accomplishment, which it will, then you have that option. Just don't mention it to anybody in the old school community.
But like that's why you would, if you're that worried about buying keys and not having that sense of accomplishment, then you would just play an Iron Man, right? Like that's, or you just do it yourself and just know personally that that's the thing that you achieved. Yeah, I get it. Like I do get it.
Old school does not and will
Right.
not ever have any form of microtransactions. I promise you that. Don't ask about it. Don't mention it. Just pretend that microtransactions
Exaggerated, but
are it's
definitely you
non-existent. But I mean,
show
over
a
here,
salary
go
on
crazy.
cape, I
Every
guess.
single person here has
Superbly
participated in microtransactions. They won't admit it out loud, but you know they have. They definitely have. But as a side note, there is
Dude,
a way
wasn't
to
a
feel
shark
accomplished about your RuneScape 3 achievements without microtransactions ruining it for you, and that's to play an Iron Man. At first, I was kind of
Okay.
hesitant to suggest playing an Iron Man on either games to new players, because there's no doubt, playing an Iron Man is harder than playing an ordinary account. Playing an MMO as if it's single player. No trading other players, just you and the world's resources. It might be frustrating at points, but it's still fun. There are loads of guides to get you through any challenge you might find
50 plus
yourself in.
treasure
I think
hunter
it might be
keys
one of the only
and-
ways to get that
you-
true,
gotcha,
authentic
okay.
first-time RuneScape
So
experience.
you can earn the treasure hunter keys. What's it? Like I'm free to play right now, just not playing enough to justify pay to play. Fair enough. I'm sitting on 50 plus treasure hunter keys, and you're using them. So you can accrue treasure hunter keys without buying them. Like you just can gain them passively or doing activities in game. Get them from quests and grinding. Okay, gotcha. So there's still an ability to gain the keys by just playing the game. You don't have to buy them. That honestly, I'm not mad at that, because it still gives players who don't want to buy it the opportunity to gain that at some point. You have to put a lot more work into it, obviously. I'm not mad at that. I think that's perfectly fine, honestly. Like that changes a lot. Because you go into thinking of RS3 with the preconception of like, oh, it's pay to win and you have to buy things just to get ahead in the game. But if you can just get them from doing shit, that makes a lot more sense, and it seems a lot more like what a microtransaction to Jagex would. Right. It's just not as fast, which is perfectly fine. I mean, the whole game is a balance between, do I want to sit here and AFK do something for not as fast experience, or do I want to sit here and heavy click on shit to get optimal experience? And with RS3, there's just that option if you want to go through, put your paycheck into it, and then get to where you want to go so you can actually play the game. But even then, like, and I think this is true with RS3 anyway, is that even at lower levels, there's still exciting and cool shit for you to do. Yeah. Okay, I dig it.
Experience again, you're gonna have to learn everything. If it's too much, just make a new account and just beg people for things. We all did that at some point too. And on the RuneScape 3 side, Iron Man
What's it? The fucking selling 12 trout. That's why the monetization isn't a problem at all. Yeah. No, that honestly, looking at it from that sense and kind of getting an idea, makes a lot more sense. Like it's not as, it doesn't seem as like money hungry and gross as your first idea is. I Yeah, it's a
not
lot more
participate
acceptable.
in microtransactions. There's no treasure hunter keys available for you if you're an Iron Man. If someone has an Iron Man symbol next to their name, you can immediately confirm that everything on their account was through in-game grinding, and players who also play RuneScape 3 that people don't really care about feeling rewarded anymore. So for
Let me see
RuneScape
the
3, I
hours he
think I
had on there.
might recommend playing an Iron Man over a normal account. Glad you did.
Whatever.
So this might be a factor that players forget about when considering which game they should play, and that's community. My favorite part about the game is social interaction, specifically the goofballs of free-to-play. Even though both games have had a massive decline of
free-to-play is
social
wild.
interaction, Old Schools is definitely still there. Not all of it is necessarily good, but it's still there. On RuneScape 3, I've noticed that social interactions are almost kind of a rare thing. Not as many people really care to
that's
respond to
that's a
you
little
or
upsetting.
talk to you. Even the
Are you
most
a real
crowded
player?
places are just people selling items. Free to play is empty. It's a matter of fact that RuneScape 3 does not have as many active players as Old School. There's simply less people playing the game. And to some, that might not matter. But if you plan on asking for help,
Well, yeah, I'm
or
gonna be
making
dungeoneering,
pals,
so,
Old School
like, I don't give a
RuneScape's gonna be
shit.
the easier game for that. You'll have no problem finding a group of people to hang out with and make friends. You know, just don't be yourself. You'll find somewhere. Well, that was a lot of stuff to consider. I don't even know if any new players are watching this. Chances are the majority of you already play RuneScape and you've made your mind up years ago of which game you're gonna play. Being the guy that's presented all of this, you probably want to know what I think you should play. And I don't know if it's obvious,
them,
but
yeah.
neither. It's not too late for you. Go on Steam.
Yeah.
There's so many games on there, dude. God, dude, do you know how many games are on Steam? I don't care which one you play, man.
Yeah, it's the same idea of like, if you want to win at RuneScape, just never play. Feeling feisty, I burn my keys, and I stack up bonus XP. Most of the lamps give bonus XP means, right. And hit the casual grind. Yeah, I mean
Man, try them both out. They're fine. Just pick one, dude. You're thinking way too hard about this. You're
think that-
overthinking, dude. If you made it this far, you're just overthinking. But that's all I've got about this. It's been great. Good to see you. Quick little
Yeah, yeah.
shout out. I have started actively streaming on Twitch. That's very real.
No, that's a lie.
Twitch.tv/Jimmy with a 1. I have that in my name still. Nothing's changed there. I will be playing games of all sorts and posting highlight videos on my second channel. I have a
Yeah. Okay, so that actually is my college grind game. Yeah, man. Low key, I think I might try some RS3. Yeah. Yeah, I like that idea. I think it definitely, especially talking to you, Dyro, like giving me like someone who's actually played RS3 and not someone who's like, obviously he's an old school player, you know what I mean? So seeing it from someone who actually plays RS3 and hearing that it's honestly not that bad, definitely gives me a sense of, nice, got him. Gives me a sense that it might be worth the try for sure. Sweet. That being said, I have to get ready for. I've got my time in both. I'm able to step back and take off the glass. Yeah, and honestly, like at the end of the day, that's kind of where Jimmy settled on as well. Like, you know, just play both games. It's not a huge deal. You're overthinking it. Just if you like one better, you play that one. If you like the other one better, you play that one. Yeah, I'm digging it. That being said, I gotta head out to, well, one, I gotta eat some dinner and get ready for Dimensions stream. We're gonna shout him out one more time.